Okay, I'd like to welcome everyone here this evening. Ask you to please stand for the pledge to the flag. Pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. First item we have is a public hearing on dissolution plan for Kovac. I'll read the notice of public hearing. Please take notice that the Town Board of the Town of Cornwall will hold a public hearing on the 12th day of June, 2017 at 7 o'clock p.m. at Town Hall, 183 Main Street, Cornwall, New York, on a proposed dissolution plan for the Cornwall Ambulance District. The Ambulance District, which was formed in 1984-85 pursuant to the adoption of Home Rule request legislation by New York State Legislature, is proposed to be dissolved pursuant to Article 17-A of New York State General Municipal Law. A copy of the proposed dissolution plan for the Cornwall Ambulance District is on file in the office of the Town Clerk and available for inspection by interested persons during the Town Clerk's business hours. The Town Board will, at the above date, time, and place, hear all persons interested in the subject matter hereof. Person may appear in person or by agent. All written communications addressed to the Board must be received by the Board at or prior to the public hearing. By order of the Town Board, Town of Cornwall, Renata McGee, Town Clerk. Okay, I'll now declare the public hearing open. Is there anyone wishing to speak on the dissolution plan with Kovac? Hearing no one, I'll ask one more time. Anyone wishing to speak at this public hearing?
Only about Kovac? Tell me about it.
Pardon?
You can only speak about Kovac?
This is a public hearing on Kovac.
Right, because I couldn't hear
Yeah,
this one.
that's what it is. Okay, hearing no one, is there a motion to close the public hearing?
Second.
Move second, discussion, roll call.
Mr. Russell?
Yes.
Mr. McGinnis?
Yes.
Ms. Bunt?
Yes.
Mr. Summerfield? Mr. Randazzo?
Yes, motion is carried. We have approval of minutes, May 1st, special meeting, May 8th, regular meeting, May 17th, special meeting. Is there a motion on the approval of the minutes?
So moved.
Is there a second? Discussion?
A minor correction on the work session minutes. I had asked Steve Gaba whether the town needed to provide another half acre somewhere else in the town by alienating half acre in the town park. And it was all that.
Okay.
Okay. Roll call?
Mr. Russell?
Yes.
Mr. McGinnis?
Yes.
Ms. Bunt?
Yes.
Mr. Summerfield?
Yes.
Mr. Randazzo?
Yes, motion is carried. Public comment, agenda items. Anyone wish to speak on any item on the agenda? Okay, I'm going to switch the first two items. We'll take resolution that's second on the agenda first. Whereas the town and Kovac have entered into an agreement for provision of ambulance service subject to pending dissolution of the ambulance district. And whereas under said agreement, the town is paying over to Kovac the fees collected for ambulance service above the town's costs and expenses in operating the ambulance district. And whereas in addition to collected fees, the town has certain accounts receivable from individuals who had previously received ambulance service for which payment has not yet been received. Now therefore be it resolved as follows. In clarification of the dissolution plan for the Cornwall Ambulance District, it is hereby affirmatively represented that all accounts receivable for EMS service have been assigned to Kovac pursuant to the terms of said contract. Is there a motion on the resolution?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Discussion? Roll call?
Mr. Russell?
Yes.
Mr. McGinnis?
Yes.
Ms. Bunt?
Yes.
Mr. Summerfield?
Yes.
Mr. Randazzo?
Yes, motion is carried. Next is adoption of the Kovac dissolution plan. Whereas in order to dissolve an ambulance district, Article 17A of New York State General Municipal Law requires that the governing body prepare and present a plan of dissolution at a public hearing. And whereas following due notice, the town board held a public hearing on a proposed dissolution plan. Now therefore be resolved as follows. 1, that the town board hereby adopts the annexed dissolution plan for the Cornwall Ambulance District, which plan is effective June 12, 2017. And 2, that the town board directs that a notice of adoption be published and posted. Is there a motion on the resolution?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Discussion? Roll call?
Mr. Russell?
Yes.
Mr. McGinnis?
Yes.
Ms. Bunt?
Yes.
Mr. Summerfield?
Yes.
Mr. Randazzo?
Yes, the motion is carried. Steve, that concludes the issues on Kovac?
Those issues on Kovac. The only other, you're going to have the transfer of title to the vehicles. I don't know where we left off on
Right,
that.
they were looking at actually having that done as of today,
Great.
but at whatever point, as soon as possible, switched over.
Right, wind up the business.
Okay, next is a resolution. This, I think, we adopted this last month, but we had to change it from loan grants to loans.
Right.
So this is just re-adopting this. The one we adopted last week indicated the grants where it should have said loans. So whereas the New York State Environmental Facilities Corporation under the Clean Water State Revolving Fund offers loans in connection with the town's proposed Sewer District Number 1 inflow and infiltration project. And whereas the town's consultant Russell Budd has recommended that the town apply for said loan as the town identifies alternatives to correct inflow and infiltration issues in the sewer district's collection system and seeks funding for the same. Now therefore be it resolved as follows, that the town board hereby authorizes the town supervisor and its consultants to prepare and execute and submit the attached loan application together with any and all related documents necessary to meet the conditions of the loan application. Is there a motion on the resolution?
So moved.
Second.
Move second, discussion.
Quick question, are we still eligible for grants for this particular project, or are we just all out of pocket?
No, we're still, that's one of the reasons we were rushing to get this.
Right, that's
The
what.
deadline is June 23rd. We're looking for that round of grants to see if we can qualify. Roll call.
Mr. Russell?
Yes.
Mr. McGinnis?
Yes.
Ms. Bunt?
Yes.
Mr. Summerfield?
Yes.
Mr. Randazzo?
Yes, motion is carried. Next item is a letter from Neil Wilkinson. Please accept this letter as a request for approval for the Cornwall Walk/Run for Cancer to be held on Saturday, October 28th at 9:30 a.m. at Riverlight Park. This has been a popular and community-driven event in Cornwall for over 11 years. We'd like to continue to raise awareness and honor those who have struggled with this disease. I will advise Chief Hazard, Highway Superintendent Eugene Conley, and Little League President John Carnwright. Please see the attached map of the 5K, 10K course. Insurance will be provided. Sincerely, Neil Wilkinson. Is there a motion to approve the event?
So moved.
Move, seconded. Discussion, roll call.
Mr. Russell?
Yes.
Mr. McGinnis?
Yes.
Ms. Bunt?
Yes.
Mr. Summerfield?
Yes.
Mr. Randazzo?
Yes, motion is carried. Next is a resolution on Scott request for sewer service. Whereas Mark Scott and Virginia Scott residing at 36 Willow Avenue, Town of Cornwall, Orange County, New York, own property in the Town of Cornwall, Section 12-1-2.2, which said property is outside of the Firth Cliff Sewer District, which said sewer district is owned and maintained by the town. And whereas the Scotts have requested that their property be provided with sewer service by the Firth Cliff Sewer District for an existing single-family residence on the property, and whereas the appropriate means for the town to grant the request made by the Scotts is to undertake an extension of the said sewer district, now therefore be resolved as follows. One, that in order to effectuate the proposed sewer extension, the Scotts are required to petition the town board pursuant to Article 12 of New York State Town Law, which petition must be accompanied by a map, plan, and report, all as required by Article 12. Two, that upon approval of proposed extension, the town board will require that the Scotts pay to the Firth Cliff Sewer District a fee of $9,000, which represents a contribution towards the district, which property owners within the Firth Cliff Sewer District have paid for the past decade. Three, the town board hereby requires the Scotts to establish an escrow account with the town for all engineering and legal fees, together with disbursements including but not limited to the cost of publication of the notice of the public hearing in the initial amount of $1,000. Is there a motion on the resolution?
So moved.
Second.
Move, second, discussion.
Can I discuss it this time? I shouldn't be getting.
Well, Mr. Scott, since it's your
Well, I really
Issue.
didn't want a sewer extension. I just wanted to have a outside sewer district use. That was what most towns do. Most towns are not going for an extension. If you look at Neville, the gaming casino, they got an outside user district use. That's all they got. They did not get extension of the sewer. I still maintain the same amount. I read into a few other things. As this goes into the expanding the sewer district, then someone on the board or someone could come along and rescind the whole thing because they don't want it. So you're opening up the whole Previa thing. If you,
That's not true.
that's what I
That's not
read on
correct.
the, there's one website that was dealing with a town up in upstate New York.
No, that's not correct. I think the attorney can tell you the reason why, and we've done this in the past, quite honestly. But he can
Once
explain
the
to you.
district is formed, unless you're going to dissolve the whole district, you can't throw people out of the district. You have a vested right to
Okay.
sewer capacity material. You have an outside user agreement, the outside user agreement could be abrogated, but not the, not.
So the property up on Willow Ave that had like 9 homes going in their building now, you incorporate the sewer district into them?
We did.
Okay.
Initially, it was by a user, but within a matter of months, I think it was, we extended the district
Yeah.
to encompass those homes.
Okay, and I believe they paid $7,000
I believe they paid $7,500,
7,500, yeah.
and that was
So,
10 years ago.
Okay, so you're telling me above that, then I still have to pay, what, his salary and the town engineer and everybody else? Is that
I don't know
what
about
you're-
his salary, but you have to pay whatever cost the town incurs to extend the district to accommodate your proposal.
Okay, as a town accountant, are they also doing a lift station for me, or is this sort of something that I do myself?
No, that's how you get into the sewer main that's at your expense.
Okay, so this could cost how much? Rough idea by you, sir? On top of the 9,000?
Well, 1,000 should cover it, no problem. I mean, you're talking minimal work. Your engineering's gonna be the thing.
And I'm worried about somebody, okay, so I'm worried about somebody come along saying, we don't want this here, and as a homeowner who's already in the district, and you guys will still follow through on this.
No, well, once the district is extended, then you're in the district.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. We've had a motion, a second, roll call.
Mr. Russell?
Yes.
Mr. McGinnis?
Yes.
Ms. Bunt?
Yes.
Mr. Summerfield?
Yes.
Mr. Randazzo?
Yes. Okay, I have a letter from Anthony Incano requesting that the town board, actually, he's offering his dam, the Ores Mills Dam off of Route 32 by the bridge to the town. I think he offered it to us last year and probably a few years before that. And it's, in the past, it's not been something that the town has been interested in doing. As I commented at the work session, I was at a meeting with consultants that were hired, I believe, through a DEC grant to look at the lower Moodna in terms of trying to mitigate flooding. And one of the things that they said they would be looking at is there were a few dams that are along that route, which the dams sort of have outlived their usefulness in a sense of there were mills apparently that were operating, and that's how they generated the water and the energy for them, for the mills. But they said one of the things they're going to look at is possibly having dams removed to help mitigate some of the potential flooding that exists. So we've had this request from Mr. Incano. Is there a motion to decline, which we've done in the past, the offer that he has made to turn his dam over to the town?
So moved. Second.
Moved, seconded, discussion, roll call.
Mr. Russell?
Yes.
Mr. McGinnis?
Yes.
Ms. Bunt?
Yes.
Mr. Summerfield?
Yes.
Mr. Randazzo?
Yes, motion is carried. One of the issues that the municipalities along the Hudson River in certain areas have been facing is the Coast Guard's proposal for anchorages along the Hudson. I have a resolution. Whereas the U.S. Coast Guard is currently considering a proposal to establish new anchorage areas along the Hudson River between Yonkers and Kingston. Whereas the town of Cornwall adopted the attached resolution in July 2016 documenting its concerns about the anchor to petroleum carrying tankers along the Hudson River, and whereas New York State Assembly member Dee Dee Barrett has introduced Assembly Bill A 06825, which would enable New York State agencies to consider environmental impacts in designating tanker avoidance zones. Whereas New York State Senator Sue Serino has introduced the same measure in the Assembly, or the Senate as Bill number S05197, whereas proposed bills would enable New York State to take a stronger role in controlling the placement of any anchorage areas for petroleum-carrying vessels to ensure that the needs of the Hudson River and riverfront communities are protected. Now therefore be resolved as follows. 1, Town Board of the Town of Cornwall hereby expresses support for Assembly Bill A 06825 and Senate Bills S05197. And 2, Town Board hereby directs the town clerk to send certified copies of this resolution to the names and addresses listed on Schedule A annexed to this resolution. Is there a motion on the resolution?
So moved.
Your second?
Second.
Discussion? Roll call.
Mr. Russell?
Yes.
Mr. McGinnis?
Yes.
Ms. Bunt?
Yes.
Mr. Summerfield?
Yes.
Mr. Randazzo?
Yes, motion is carried. Next item is a purchase order request from our highway superintendent for the highway and sanitation to purchase a handheld scanner to diagnose problems and issues with town vehicles. It includes 2 years of upgrades, then $500 per year after that for upgrades. And the proposal is, the vendor name is Motor in East Rockaway, New York. The total is $2,995. The superintendent did get a proposal from Snap-on Industrial, it looks like, for $7,204.88. And another one from Durham's Automotive Parts, and that's for $6,999.99. Seems like a wide variance in the numbers, but the low offer we have is $29.95. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Second. Discussion? Roll call?
Mr. Russell?
Yes.
Mr. McGinnis?
Yes.
Ms. Bunt?
Yes.
Mr. Summerfield?
Yes.
Mr. Randazzo?
Yes, the motion is carried. Next is a resolution, support Hudson River Sloop Clearwater's sale for clean water environmental protection. I think we're all pretty familiar with the Clearwater and what it stood for decades in protecting and preserving the Hudson River. I have a resolution. Whereas the Sloop Clearwater plans to sail to Washington, D.C. to deliver to federal officials concerns of citizens, public interest groups, and municipal officials throughout New York regarding growing threats to our water and to federal clean water protections. And whereas attached to this resolution, a proposed letter for signature by all town board members expressing the town's support for Hudson River Sloop Clearwater's sale to Washington, D.C. Now therefore be resolved as follows. 1, Town Board of the Town of Cornwall hereby expresses its support for the Sloop Clearwater's sale to Washington, D.C. And 2, the Town Board is hereby authorized to sign the support letter annexed to this resolution. Is there a motion on the resolution?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Discussion?
There's the letter attached to it.
I know, I'll have the letter and you can stop in and sign it. Roll call?
Mr. Russell?
Yes.
Mr. McGinnis?
Yes.
Ms. Bunt?
Yes.
Mr. Summerfield?
Yes.
Mr. Randazzo?
Yes, motion is carried. Next item is on the decision that was reached in the State of New York Supreme Court Appellate Division 3rd Judicial Department with regard to our appeal that we had submitted regarding the KJ Wells at Mountainville. And the court gave a very short response and said, upon papers filed in support of the motions and papers filed in opposition thereto, it is ordered that the motions are granted without costs. So we did receive the injunction a couple weeks ago, and KJ filed an additional action to modify, I believe, the injunction. I'll let the attorney just touch on that for the record.
Okay, there's a motion pending, it's called an order to show cause by the Village of Curious Joel, seeking to vacate the preliminary injunction or to modify it to allow 252,950 gallons per day of draw during the pendency of the appeal. That will be fully submitted on Wednesday, and we'll await the court's decision on that.
Okay. Next, Legion Fireworks has submitted their paperwork for the 4th of July fireworks display through the committee, the 4th of July committee. There's a motion to approve the permit for the fireworks display.
So moved.
Legion Fireworks moved, second by Helen. Discussion, roll call.
Mr. Russell?
Yes.
Mr. McGinnis?
Yes.
Ms. Bunt?
Yes.
Mr. Summerfield?
Yes.
Mr. Randazzo?
Yes, motion is carried. I have a request memo from Chief Hazard. Our IT vendor has recommended that we consider replacing our computer server as our current server is approximately 8 years old. It is no longer cost effective to maintain. They provided us with a cost of $2,482 for a new Dell Power Edge T130 server. Respectfully request that the board consider purchasing a new server at this time. Is there a motion on the request?
So moved.
Second.
Moved, seconded by Michael.
Peter.
Discussion, roll call.
Mr. Russell?
Yes.
Mr. McGinnis?
Yes.
Ms. Bunt?
Yes.
Mr. Summerfield?
Yes.
Mr. Randazzo?
Yes, motion is carried. Next, I have a letter from the Department of Health. It's regarding larviciding municipal-owned catch basins. Orange County Department of Health has contracted with Alamar Inc., DBA Pest Master Services to provide larvicide application to municipality-owned catch basins. The larvicide to be used will be Alticid briquettes. This will prevent mosquito breeding in the catch basins. Pest Master Services expects to start larviciding in your town, village, or city beginning on Monday, June 19th, 2017. They will be in vehicles identified as belonging to Pest Master Services, and workers will be carrying identification. Mosquito experts from Orange County Community College will continue to trap throughout Orange County until October 2017. They will also carry identification. Just want to note that, something that's an annual thing that the health department does to hopefully help keep us safe. Rotary Club of West Point has sent a letter. They filed an application for special use permit seeking approval from New York State DOT Regional Safety Evaluation Engineer to conduct the 6th Annual Storm King Run on Sunday, August 13, 2017. Net proceeds from the run will benefit the Rotary Club Scholarship Fund, which provides funding for college to local high school students. The race starts in Highland Falls, just north of Washington Gate, entrance to West Point. Route proceeds along New York 218, crossing a short distance into the town of Cornwall, and then returns to the finish line on New York 218 near Washington Gate, out and back route. Permit requires written approval from the town of Cornwall. Is there a motion to give the approval to the Rotary Club?
So moved.
Or second?
Second.
Discussion? Roll call?
Mr. Russell?
Yes.
Mr. McGinnis?
Yes.
Ms. Bunt?
Yes.
Mr. Summerfield?
Yes.
Mr. Randazzo?
Yes, motion is carried. I have a letter from Brendan Coyne for the 4th of July Committee requesting the town board consider making its annual $1,000 contribution to defray some of the expenses of the 2017 July 4th celebration. The committee's expenses are approximately $35,000. Our major expenses are the fireworks and parade bands. We raise necessary funds for the celebration through donations, journal ads, coin drop, and sale of T-shirts, water, soda, and, of course, the Lupa lights. As always, we acknowledge and appreciate the cooperation of the town employees and the town's public works and police departments in helping to make the day a success. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
Move, second, discussion, roll call?
Mr. Russell?
Yes.
Mr. McGinnis?
Yes.
Ms. Bunt?
Yes.
Mr. Summerfield?
Yes.
Mr. Randazzo?
Yes, motion is carried. Next item is a resolution, whereas the town board has received Community Development Block Grant Fiscal Year 2017 grant from Munger Cottage Improvements, and requires engineering assistance in regard to the same. Whereas the town board has received the attached proposed agreement for engineering service between the town of Cornwall and McGoey Hauser Netzel Consulting Engineers in connection with the project. Now therefore be it resolved as follows. One, that the town board hereby agrees to enter into the annexed agreement with McGoey Hauser Netzel. Two, that the town board hereby authorizes supervisor to execute the same and all documents necessary to effectuate the terms therein. And I think the amount for the services is $5,600. This is for the construction of a ramp that will go from the lower parking lot at Munger Cottage up to the upper parking lot and access to the new building, as well as we will be able to automate the doors for handicap accessibility. Is there a motion on the resolution?
So moved.
Second.
Move, second, discussion. Roll call?
Mr. Russell?
Yes.
Mr. McGinnis?
Yes.
Ms. Bunt?
Yes.
Mr. Summerfield?
Yes.
Mr. Randazzo?
Yes, motion is carried. The Conservation Advisory Council Chair, Carla, submitted a memorandum, which I got today. I emailed it to the board so you would have it. Basically, it's about a grant opportunity through the Hudson Highlands Land Trust, and it's to do an open space inventory. And so I wanted to give it to the board so you can have it, look at it, and we'll have it on the agenda in July. I think there's a July 12th deadline. And as we've been working with the natural resource inventory with Blooming Grove and the Village of Cornwall Hudson, I think in this one, the town will be working again with Blooming Grove to see if we can get the grant. The grant is going to be completely administered by the Hudson Highlands Trust, so it's not something that we're going to have to do, but just we agree to participate and have the council participate with them. So just wanted to let you know so you can look that over because there is a tight deadline that we're looking at. Under personnel, I have a appointment of a part-time water meter reader. It's Kelly Lance. Is there a motion on appointment of Kelly?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Discussion, roll call.
Mr. Russell?
Yes.
Mr. McGinnis?
Yes.
Ms. Bunt?
Yes.
Mr. Summerfield?
Yes.
Mr. Randazzo?
Yes, motion is carried. I have a memo from the Highway Superintendent. May the undersigned be authorized to hire Casey Brown to fill the vacant sanitation department labor position. After reviewing numerous applications, interviewing candidates, I feel Mr. Brown is the best applicant and will be an asset to the town. If approved, Mr. Brown can start the week of June 19th, possibly earlier, with an hourly rate of $20.70 as sanitation labor step 1 per the CSEA contract. Is there a motion to appoint?
So moved. Second.
Move second, discussion, roll call.
Mr. Russell?
Yes.
Mr. McGinnis?
Yes.
Ms. Bunt?
Yes.
Mr. Summerfield?
Yes.
Mr. Randazzo?
Yes. Motion is carried. I have another memo from the Highway Superintendent, sanitation. This one's for highway summer employment. Be authorized to rehire Sonny Schaffner and hire Michael Trainer to fill the summer seasonal positions. Mr. Schaffner was part-time operations last year with the Highway Department and feels that Mr. Trainer would certainly be an asset to the department. If both are available to start, they can start right away with an hourly rate of $14.93 for approximately 7 weeks. Funds have been approved in the 2017 highway budget. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Is there a second? Discussion? Roll call.
Mr. Russell?
Yes.
Mr. McGinnis?
Yes.
Ms. Bunt?
Yes.
Mr. Summerfield?
Yes.
Mr. Randazzo?
Yes, motion is carried. Next, I have a list of counselors and lifeguards submitted by our Recreation Director. These are for the counselors for the summer recreation program and obviously the lifeguards for the wading pool and big pool for the summer. Is there a motion to approve the recommended hires?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Discussion? Roll call?
Mr. Russell?
Yes.
Mr. McGinnis?
Yes.
Ms. Bunt?
Yes.
Mr. Summerfield?
Yes.
Mr. Randazzo?
Yes, motion is carried. Next, I have a letter of resignation from Nicholas Schust. Dear Chief Hazard, thank you for giving me the pleasure to serve as police officer for the town of Cornwall. Through this opportunity, I've learned from excellent supervisors and fellow officers and gained experience which will be of great use to me as I continue my career. Please accept this letter as formal notification that I'm resigning my position with the Cornwall Police Department. My last day will be June 18, 2017. It's a very difficult decision to reach, however, it is the right move for myself and my family. Thank you for the opportunities you have provided me during my time with the Cornwall Police Department. If I can be of assistance during the transition, please let me know. Sincerely, Nicholas Schust. Is there a motion to accept the resignations?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Move second, discussion?
Just wish Officer Schust well in his new endeavors.
Thank you. Roll call?
Mr. Russell?
Yes.
Mr. McGinnis?
Yes.
Ms. Bunt?
Yes.
Mr. Summerfield? Mr. Randazzo?
Yes, motion is carried. I did add one item on Holloran Road. We have been getting phone calls from some residents inquiring about surveying that's being done on Holloran Road. I was over there today and met with the surveyors who work for Tectonic, and they put me in touch with their supervisor, and the supervisor put me in touch with a company in Albany, and I spoke to the representative from the company. The company represents the village of Carious Joel, and the survey is being conducted at the request of the New York State Department of Transportation. Apparently, in reviewing the second phase of the pipeline, the DOT has requested that the village look at an alternative route instead of the pipeline continuing up 32 to the area of the Five Corners and then down 94. So right now, just so everyone knows, and if you do get asked about it, that it is at the request of DOT, and that's why the surveyors are in the area. So that's all. There's nothing definitive. It's just that they wanted this preliminary work done so that they can take a look to see if that is a better route for the pipeline. Okay. Committee reports. Councilwoman Bunt.
Okay, the building department permits issued 18, CCs issued 12, COs 4, on-site inspection 73, complaints investigated 7, stop work orders 2, fire inspections 8, signs removed 17, Permit fees were $3,972, and fees for municipal searches, $4,500, and year-to-date are one project in planning, one project in zoning. Kovac, I don't have anything on Kovac. And the seniors, I guess that aerobics class was canceled, so we didn't get that together. But they are very active with other things that are going on over there. And is it okay for me to say that Butterhill's going there Monday?
Longer?
Yeah. Butterhill Day School will be performing their play for the seniors on Monday morning at 10 o'clock. It's music, history, and the history of Cornwall. So they'll be dancing and singing and entertaining the seniors, and they really enjoy when the kids come over there to visit. So we're looking forward to that. And other than that, I don't really have anything.
Okay. Michael?
CCAC met last Wednesday. They did a recap of what's happening at town board. River Sweep recap, where they thanked the students at NEMA, the Storm King School, Boy Scouts from Washingtonville, and other volunteers that made the sweep such a great success. There were 75 volunteers altogether. Riverfest, they had a booth at Riverfest and did a lot of canvassing and information, provided information on who the CCAC is, and did a good job in pulling some new contacts in, and we'll see if the meetings are better, even better attended than they are now. The CCAC is scheduling a retreat in July. They are going to be focusing on community gardens, open space index, increasing the recycling rates, education outreach for recycling, nonprofit and fundraising activities that CCAC can engage in through other organizations to provide funding for different efforts that they have in Cornwall. They'll also be discussing streetlight inventory, 2-year goals instead of just a simple 6 months or 1 year forward. Budget, UCF tree inventory grant, countywide issues, pipeline barges, CPVs. So it's generally going to be a retreat to discuss the most important issues facing Cornwall from an environmental standpoint. One of the members, Nicholas, is doing a streetlight inventory. It's a multi-purpose, even though Central Hudson is updating the lights using LEDs. He is also looking at it in terms of the actual wattage that they're replacing it with, because some of the lights seem very bright. The spacing of the street lights was based on wattage of older types of lighting, and the new LEDs provide a much brighter light. And even though Central Hudson is replacing the lights, there is also an opportunity for the town to purchase the lights to provide better lighting at a cheaper cost. And so he's looking at the cost, and he'll report back to the town board and its findings. There was a lot of concern about Central Hudson's tree pruning. We know that they advise the town supervisor and the board of what streets they're going to be, what public streets they're going to be trimming. They never really say exactly how extensive the pruning is. When we walked up on Memorial Day parade, we saw a fair number of trees with a single branch sticking out, and it looked really horrible. Might as well just take the tree out. So what they want to do, what the CCAC wants to do, is find out a little bit more about their processes. And they did find out that there's only one company that's doing the pruning in this area, and Central Hudson oversees the pruning. A forestry official, prior to pruning, Central Hudson said they walk around with the municipal officials, and we're going to do more research on what their process is, and better information on how we might have a voice in the trees that they're cutting, or the extent to which they're cutting the trees. And that's about it for the CCAC. Carla's here, so she may have more to add during the public comment.
Okay. Peter?
For the police department for May 2017, statistical report, there were 932 calls for service, 47 motor vehicle accidents were reported, 11 911 hang-ups or misdials. There were 42 alarms, both residential and business, 15 ambulance requests, 14 animal complaints, 15 disabled vehicles, 21 suspicious vehicle or persons, 8 house checks, and 28 assists for other agencies. And then the only other item was the resignation of the officer. For sewer, for Shore Road, on top of routine maintenance, we were in parameters for all measured parameters for the Shore Road facility. And for First Cliff, on top of routine maintenance, we were within parameters for everything with the exception of flow. And again, we were 2 100ths over the limit. We talk about all the reports and work that we do on the sewer. One of the big ones is I&I, which maybe the public doesn't understand, means infiltration of water into the system. And again, that's the issue that we have at First Cliff. We're only 2 100ths over, but it all is contributed by the infiltration of water into the system. So we're doing our best to get a handle on that one. As far as recreation, upcoming registration for all the summer camps, summer playground, kinder camp, soccer, basketball, track. They also have kicks on there, which is kids in colorful kayaks, golf, and tennis. Upcoming trips, Mohegan Sun in Connecticut is Tuesday, June 27th. And then Saturday, July 1st is the West Point concert, which is Benny Haven's band presents the West Point Block Party. And Benny Haven's band is enlisted personnel. They're very good. And some officers in the group as well. The wading pool is now open, and the large pool will open on June 24th. And then finally, the farmers market is on summer hours now. So from June 1st through September 30th, the market will be every Wednesday from 10:30 a.m. until 3 p.m. right here at Town Hall. And they had their first one last week. It was very good.
Okay.
That's
Okay.
For the month of May, the Highway Department finished drainage and mulch work at Town Hall Park, assisted with pool concrete, street sweeping townwide, stream trimming townwide, assist sanitation department with double pickups due to holiday, litter patrol and string trim Main Street for the parade, place barrels out and clean up for the parade, basin work, Garland Street, Long Hill Road, cleaned highway garage area, mowing townwide. For the Town Comprehensive Plan Update Committee, there will be a meeting tomorrow night, 13th, and a meeting on Wednesday, June 21st. Starting with the meeting tomorrow night, we will start our meetings at 6:30 here at Town Hall.
Okay. Just on Economic Development Advisory Committee, of course, we had hired the planning professional who's doing some work with the committee, and I believe Bill Brain had said that they were going to try to make a couple visits to Main Street, just take a walk through and get some ideas to what the possibilities would be with the planner. So hopefully we'll be looking forward to a report from the planner on that. We have warrant number 6. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Discussion? Roll call?
Mr. Russell?
Yes.
Mr. McGinnis?
Yes.
Ms. Bunt? Yes. Mr. Summerfield?
Yes.
Mr. Randazzo?
Yes, motion is carried. Public comment on any item, issues?
Do I have to stick to your agenda or something?
Anything?
Okay.
Just at the end.
Have you decided on when we can have a public discussion about where the museum that you're proposing would be?
Well, we've had public discussions. We accept whatever you want to put into it.
Okay, there are so many other places to have it besides near the library. There's land right next door to this building, which is quite open and big enough. The place at Sands Rink would be better because it is historic. If you're going to have tourists coming, that's a tourist drawing thing. The Canterbury Presbyterian Church, although you said it was too expensive, but anything you put up is going to be expensive. And the taxpayer's going to have to pay for it one way or the other. So I think they should have a say-so in what they're paying for.
Well, the taxpayers are going to have, they can have a say-so anytime they want. They come to the meeting, we're at the point where we haven't put a shovel in the ground, we haven't drawn plans for a building, we haven't borrowed money or done anything. So there's plenty of opportunity going forward to have the public input on it. Nothing is cast in stone. The Sands Ring property we've talked about. If the church up there, nobody's made a proposal, but on the other hand, again, I gave my opinion of the building. It's an really older building, expensive building for the town to maintain, but that's my take on it. So we're open to, anyone wants to come and talk about it, they can come to any meeting and do it, and we're happy to listen. But right now, nothing's been done, and contrary to what you might read on social media or something, with the alienation of the parkland request that we made to the legislature, it didn't require that an environmental review be done. There, at the appropriate time, there would be an environmental review as required. I think maybe the attorney might want to clear that up in terms of the town board having followed the process.
Yeah, sure. Alienation of parkland is a legislative act by the state legislature. State legislative acts are type 2 or exempt actions. They're not subject to SEQA. So unless the town actually was undertaking to build a building through some affirmative act, whether it's financing or getting plans for it through an engineer or whatever it is, they're not a permitting agency at that point. They couldn't conduct SEQA if they wanted to. Only the state legislature is acting here. They're adopting a law, and it's a type 2 action, exempt action. So it'd be premature to undertake SEQA relief at this time.
Will we be able to say yes or no when you make your plans?
No, actually, when we move ahead, if we do move ahead, I mean, whatever plans the board develops, we certainly would, then have the public come in. We're always willing to take the comment from it. And there's been this has been very transparent despite what some people might lead you to believe. There is nothing secret going on here. This is a process that we're doing. If the legislature approves the alienation and the governor signs it, if the town never builds a building there, nothing changes with the property. It remains the same.
Can something else be built there besides a museum?
No, this is specifically for a historic museum building. Yes?
So once the land is, let's say if the governor signs it and it's approved to take parkland, so you're saying only the museum can be built there, or can some?
That's what the legislation would be, to authorize the construction of a historic museum building. That's the only thing that could be built there.
So is there, what was sent to the assembly and to the senator, is there anything that, say myself or Dean, that we can see where the borders are?
Well, we have a
Of that
survey.
proposed land?
We have a survey of the property that was done.
No, but where was the proposed land? Where exactly?
The proposed
are the
land,
borders?
it's right behind the library, right? Just beyond the parking lot of the library,
Right.
between there and Munger Cottage. It's right near that
And
flat level land that's there.
And where are the other two? Is it go into the woods?
No, it doesn't even go over, you're on the other side of
Yes.
the forested area,
Yep.
right? This doesn't come anywhere near the hill there even. So it's not going to be built on the border or anything like that.
So the other border is obviously the road going to
The
Munger
road.
Cottage,
Correct.
and by the woods, it's where?
It doesn't even go over to the woods. I believe there's a water line or something that goes down through there, and, but if you stop in my office, I'll be happy to show you
A copy of the proposal that went?
Absolutely, the surveyor, did it, marked it out.
But, and just to add to what Dean had said, I mean, it's already congested over there. And when there's an event at the cottage or the library, or both at the same time, there's hardly any parking. So wouldn't it be moved to put it somewhere where it's not already congested and leave more parkland to
Well, the
that
thing is,
side of?
yeah, I mean, the museum building would be a year-round building. And the biggest congestion, obviously, is when Little League is in season.
Right.
And, I mean, when you drive up there, you'll see 100 cars or more parked on the grass. So it's not even a matter of a lot of, new parking lots or anything like that.
But that's my point. If there's already three things there, why not move it somewhere
Yeah.
else where it's not congested?
Well, it's not really,
Some grasslands.
it's congested primarily when the Little League is there. That's really when it's congested.
No, when there's an event at the cottage or the
Well, if there's
library.
something at the cottage or something at the library, but the property is certainly big enough to accommodate it. But we will, that's a consideration that we will have, going forward.
property
the-
next to this building is big enough and you have parking out front.
Well, thank you, Dean, I appreciate that. No, that's not the point. The point is that, first of all, this is not going to be, when you talk about the library, it's not like, you're going to have individuals or small groups of people that are going to be coming to use the library. It's not like you're going to necessarily have 100 people coming to an event.
But there's always, that parking lot's always full.
Well, it's always busy, the entire park is busy.
You said library, you meant.
Oh, the library,
You said
You said library, you mean museum.
You meant museum.
yeah, the museum, that's what I'm talking about, the
Yeah.
museum, I'm sorry.
That's okay.
Yeah,
Right, but that's what we're saying, there's already people going to the library, and people going to the cottage and parking.
yeah, depending on what's going on with it. Yeah, but again, this is not something where you're going to see groups of 100 people coming to the historic museum building.
I understand that, but plus you're already
Much less.
taking grassland, why not put it somewhere where you don't have to take more of the grassland where kids play or whatever?
There's nobody playing. As a matter of fact, I can tell you, other than seeing some cars parked along Margaret Cottage there, I never see anybody using that piece of grass over there.
When I'm in my backyard, I
Yeah,
hear kids playing out there all the time.
I'm sorry, I don't, maybe we're looking at different times, but I don't see anybody using that property over there for anything. But the bottom line is, you want, the community has an opportunity anytime they want, they can come to a town board meeting, they can call the board members, and we're willing to discuss it. Right now, there's nothing cast in stone.
Right, but they're
This is
already
the
going to
concept.
take, but it's already been put into the process to take the parkland, so.
But it's not gonna, if the building doesn't get built there, nothing happens to the land. No.
Explain it to them.
Yeah, let me explain it as a comparison, and I used this last week. A lot of people, most people don't realize that where the library sits was town parkland.
Yes, I understand
Okay.
that, it was owned by
And in the
people
no-
who own the Sands Rings, and it was.
No, it was owned by the town.
Prior to that, it was owned by them, and then it was the blind home, because
It
Ms.
was-
Talmadge had.
It was a
given
blind
to
home, and the town bought the
blind.
property from the Association for the Blind.
Exactly.
And back in the 90s, the town did parkland alienation of 2.2 acres of the library property. Now, in that case, the town actually transferred the property to the school district, because the school district basically oversees the library. So we gave that land away but it was for a great purpose. We got a beautiful library built there. It was parkland alienation, exactly what we're doing with the other parcel. But in this case, this half acre, it's not even, it's a little less than a half acre. This remains owned by the town, maintained by the town. It's not going anywhere. It's not being sold, it's not going to be developed in any way. The ownership continues to be with the town, so we have 100% control over the property. So, we're happy to talk about it as a plan. Any plans that get developed, the town board will be discussing it, and the public will know about it. Anyone else? Yes?
So regarding the larva side, I just wanted to find out if there was a contact information for the rail line, because I recently learned from a resident that there are long-standing pools of water next to the rail line, and there's a concern about mosquitoes along there. And I'm sure that you don't have jurisdiction over it, but do you have to have a number of who could be called? to make
The
sure
Orange
that-
County Health Department called.
Orange County Health Department.
Correct.
Okay.
Anyone else? Hearing no one, there's a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Discussion, roll call.
Mr. Russell?
Yes.
Mr. McGinnis?
Yes.
Ms. Bunt?
Yes.
Mr. Summerfield?
Yes.
Mr. Randazzo?
Yes. Thank you very much.
Executive session.